Okay, we got a Kool Tools presentation coming up. Michael can't be with us today. He's got some issues back home. Toby, Chess, and I will do a presentation real quick. It's a yearly thing that we do. Toby and I, we kind of walk the SCRS floor and find all these little things that we like to share with the industry. This year we got a pretty good selection. So, Toby?
The first one is a Rivet Gun. I had some panels made up, and I told the machinist that I wanted 6.5 millimeters, and they don't work. So I'm just going to drill these out real quick. These rivets are structural rivets. They are rated for over 4,000 pounds of pull. This is a battery-operated rivet gun. There's some great rivet guns on the market that are all use air. But if you like the portability and having a battery-powered rivet gun, we all see that? These are hemlock rivets. These are what we use on the Ford program. Jaguar. Let's see what it does.
Now, Toby, is this MARSON Rivet Gun certified to use
No.
on Ford and Jag?
No.
Okay.
But like I said, if you're looking for the portability, it's lightweight. Excellent little piece of equipment. This is a handle, rubber handle that you can put on your tools. It works like this. Now I got
Yeah. It comes in packets of different sizes.
available on Amazon,
Called Regrip.
regrip. They have various sizes. Excellent little piece of equipment.
Next up, this NES thread repair kit. So we were walking around the show, and obviously all the little gizmos I'm always intrigued in. So they gave us a really quick demonstration. And basically, what it basically did was it restored, threads inside outside. So I figured, hey, it'd be nice to have in a toolbox for those emergencies and stuff like that. And we had an interesting thing come up. We had a Worth rivet gun that if anybody works with those guns, it takes a tremendous amount of power to put a rivet in. And one of my techs had accidentally stripped the head. There's a fine thread unit that goes in. It wasn't compressed all the way, so when he pulled on it, it stripped the head. So this $400 rivet gun was worthless. And it sat in the toolbox, and I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe we could use this tool to fix this particular rivet gun. So if you can see the picture on the right, what it does basically, it allows you to take a rethread and you insert it into the hole where it's threaded, and you can chase the threads back out without having to use a tap, because you can see the machine doesn't come apart. So you would basically throw this thing away. So that in itself saved the cost of the tool. We had other things where you have big bolts that you put in suspensions or things like that nature, and a lot of people don't have the die, in their toolbox to fix that. Well, these things come in different sizes, and basically this little thread cleanup tool is a full floating unit, and you just put that on the thread and you just clean it back out, and you don't have to have all these big boxes of different size. Works for metric, works for SAE, and coarse thread, obviously. So great gadget, nice to have in anybody's toolbox.
So the next one is a cutoff wheel from UltraCut. This allows, it's a flush cut. Put it on the grinder, and you just lay it flat on the surface. Next slide. It slices them off, and then you just take a punch and you can punch out the rivet. The only thing is that it does, it's only for a surface that you're going to replace. It does mar up the surface a little bit, and if you're just going to that hard. Now I did take the edge of it and use it as a grinder here. And it worked beautiful because it's the diamonds on it. But the idea is to slice it. This has been around for 15, 20 years. This is from Dentfix. They're in every shop, but it was very limited in what it could do. They came out at the SEMA show with some add-ons that I think that are really important for the guys. It gives the machine a lot more versatility. The first one is the keys. Now, if you add these little keys to it, now if you think about it, the old technology was that you had a pin and you put a tool around it to pull that pin out. What you do is you put a number of these keys in, and as you can see, they're slotted. And as you pull, the last end comes out first until they all come out as a unit. The nice thing about this one is it's magnetic. Most of the other ones are just fit in, the keys would fit into the slots because they were machined. This here has a little magnet inside, so it allows it to do it. And the nice thing about it is you just come over here to it. And you can put a number of these keys in. Now, here's the beauty of this piece of equipment. If you can see here, the pins that we used to use would heat the metal up to about 1800 degrees. And you would burn off the back side. As you can see, there's no burn through on the back side, very minor. And you put the keys along here, and then he came out with a bridge puller for it. And there's a rod that goes in there, and you pull it out. The other nice little thing that he came out with is a little hand puller.
Nice thing about this equipment, it's a 110 unit, so you can take it, anywhere in the shop. You don't have to have the 30 amp plug.
The other nice thing about this unit is that it has a little knurling unit. So as you're pulling up on it, you want to lock it in place, pull this down, and you can start to hammer it down. That's a little piece of equipment from Dentfix.
Okay, so here's an air coupler. We've been using these air couplers for 20 years, but we wanted to bring it, to the forefront of the industry. They're stainless. They're made by a company that, specializes in all kinds of different types of fittings, but for the body shop, what's nice about it, it's a universal fitting. It fits a number of different types of, male type things that shops have. The beauty of this is the cost is a little bit more than your standard Amflow, but they're rebuildable. So that if you have a seal that got pinched or anything like that, you can either get a rebuild kit and replace these. Another thing nice about it is a lot of times in the shop, you'll have some air couplers where a technician might drop the air hose with the unit, and then the hose blows off. These things have a mechanism in there that allows it not to pop when you accidentally drop the hose or a tool.
They're also stainless steel, so
they last forever. Yeah, we've got, like I said, we've got them 20 years, going. Really nice product. Here's a tape caddy. We brought this up to a presentation years ago, and they've improved this thing. They come out with some tape that has some arrows on it, so that instead of marking on the cars to tell the technicians where the damage might be, they just put this friendly tape so that, I don't know, some of the shop owners here, we have problems, the writing and things that are on the panels, trying to get that ink off or whatever type of marker you might be using. Technicians can take something like this and put it on their belt, estimators. You can change these for 2-inch tape, 1.5-inch tape. It just keeps the tape off the ground. One of the biggest pet peeves that I have is I walk up to the paint department and they got a piece of tape laying on the ground. Obviously, the whole side of the tape is contaminated. Doesn't do anything, you know, whatever you're trying to mask, obviously that line is not going to be as sharp as if it was a fresh piece of tape. They also made these little trick units that you pop into the tape, and they have magnets on them so that the technician, as they're masking, they can take these things and stick it to the side of a spray booth, stick it to the side of the car so they're not laying on the ground. Comes in different sizes, kind of a neat deal.
The next one is a handheld light from REVO, from Global Finishing Services. I don't know if you can see this, but I just put some high build primer on it. You can see it's still flashing off. Now, again, I'm just going to pass this over. The recommended thing is that you would have a non-contact thermometer on it to get it up to 160 degrees, correct, Pat? Now, I use a spray can for the primer. You can roll your primer on.
We use the REVO units in our shop. We got the handheld, we got a double head unit. It basically not only works for your primer, it can work for your plastic, your polyester, your glazing, your base coat, your clear coat. You know, even though our booths are heated, what happens is if anybody has painted a vehicle and went in with a temperature gauge, the top of the car usually is going to be a lot hotter than the side of the car. So what happens is a lot of times you'll have some solvent, or not so much solvent, some dieback. You'll have some issues where maybe the gloss level might not be as good. So we make it a habit, everything that comes out of the booth, even though it's heated, we still run it by our REVO just to help cross-link all the clear coats, anything that's catalyzed or an A/B type situation. Great units. They also make them for the spray booths now. I mean, if you went on the website, it's amazing. Everything's so automated nowadays. The robotics is just insane.
If you take a look, this is still flashing off, and this is dry, but I'm going to do a little more demonstration for you with this. As you can see, there's no paint transfer. If I was to do it on this one here, it's already transferred all over, and you can see it doesn't. So the nice part about, like Kai was saying, is that from a production standpoint, it gives you a lot of latitude. It speeds up your process, because the biggest part of the process in the body shop is putting primer, waiting for it to dry. And if we can move that process up a little bit faster, we get a better throughput of our cars in the shop.
Yeah, there's a number of products out there. You know, Kent makes this high build primer, comes in, white and black, and obviously the gray. There are other products out there like SEMA and things like that also makes it. So, it works on all the different types of products. It's just a neat thing to have.
Well, it's just for small areas. You don't want to do a whole car with it.
Okay, here's another thing that we found as we're walking around. This company, Spring Tools, makes a unique type of punch and chisel. Basically, it allows you to take just a chisel, like this one for example, and put 5,000 pounds. You can just pull up on this lever, hold it, and this thing can actually take the heads off of rivets. You don't need the hammer anymore. If you got a close situation where you got something in the way, you don't have that swing angle, again, it can do that. It comes with all kinds of attachments. One of my favorites is a self-centering punch. So I just brought this as an example. Say you want to duplicate the holes on this thing, and it has obviously a taper. You locate this inside your hole, It perfectly center punches that hole so that you can make a template really quick. But they have other accessories that come with it. They have this impact driver that you can put all these separate bits. Everybody has a frozen bolt or a screw. Same thing, it has that same mechanism so that you don't have to hit it with a hammer. Great little tool to have in your toolbox.
These available online? Online?
Buy them online, yeah. Called spring tools. You know, everybody that's in the shops, know about cavity wax. A lot of times when you're welding something or replacing something, we want to put that corrosion things back. A lot of the products that are out there, you have a wand basically that's a throwaway, has a little tip at the end. Sometimes that tip gets caught in the little nooks and crannies or as you're trying to pull it out. 3M has this product called Cavity Wax Plus. What's neat about it is it comes in a packet of 3. It has a long, medium, and short, and your technician can hang this on their toolbox. Nice thing about this wand is that it's reusable. You can basically use it and turn the can upside down and blow a little bit of the stuff out of it, and put it back in the package and hang it, and it just drips until it's ready to be reused again. One of the tips that they told us was to take a marker and mark the end of it, so as you're pulling it out through a frame rail or any type of box unit, you can see when the tip is actually coming out. Now, I'm going to do this demonstration. I haven't done it before, so we'll see. We're going to say that this bottle is a frame rail, right? Pulls it right out nice and even. You can see how I coated it completely, 360 degrees. There's no tip to worry about. The neat thing is reusable. So I thought this would be a great tool for the shop. This thing, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, GRYPMAT, I guess. It was really neat. Amber and I were at the career day, and this guy was walking around this thing, and I go, what is that thing? And he says, this is a new invention. I was on Shark Tank, and I got one of the investors to invest with me. And I said, what's it do? He said, basically it comes in 3 sizes, and it's a tool tray that basically sticks up to 70 degrees on a windshield, on a hood, on a fender. It allows you to keep your spark plugs, nuts and bolts, and it's flexible, and it allows you the versatility of not having like a magnetic tray to damage the finish on your car. Comes in obviously 3 sizes. Really hard to get. It was so popular I had to wait like a month and a half before I got my shipment. But something you might want to consider. Pretty good stuff. It's made out of a silicone. You want to pass that around? Sure. They can feel it. Pretty good deal. Okay, here's a favorite of mine, Dolly by Ajon. Ajon, the inventor, is here today. John, thanks for coming. So what was really weird was, by chance, I got to meet John. He says, hey, I got this, pretty neat thing that we use in our big dealership. And a lot of the shop owners here, when we dread having a car towed in that's missing suspension or is not drivable. And for the things that are out there today, all of them are good. But what happens is they're not permanent. The cars have a tendency to slip, or you need to, worry about, doing situations where you have an immobile vehicle. You got to put it up on an alignment machine. You have to put it up on a frame machine. To drag that vehicle up with, suspension pieces hanging off has always been a challenge. So I think John created this thing, just for that purpose. As you can see in the photos, we got a Mercedes here being loaded onto a flatbed tow truck. The one on the left is a car that we had to put on an alignment machine with the right front suspension broken. It obviously guides, very easy. The wheels obviously work on asphalt, works on concrete. Really versatile unit. John and I are working right now for a Tesla adapter. It works just fantastic. It allows the car to be taken off a lift or a frame machine, put aside so that you can get other work up, and then just roll it back into the stall, get it back up to speed. Just a great piece of tool. I also was digging around his little toolbox over and found this little unit here. I'm sure he uses the display. It looks like it's for like a little RC car, right? Kind of neat.
The other thing about it, which makes it unique, is that the wheels articulate a little bit. I'm not sure how much degrees that they will take it.
Through the whole unit, you've got about 6 degrees plus or minus that you've got movement.
So, on an uneven surface where you only had one wheel, these have 2 wheels, so one's always touching Like I said, putting it on a frame machine, loading it onto a flatbed, guys, with a Go Jack one, it just doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
This is just unbelievable how easy it is to load.
Yeah, like I said, there's other units out there that work. This one just works a little easier, more user-friendly.
Okay.
Aaron? Okay, here's another favorite of mine, Cubon. Anybody hear of Cubon before? So here's the situation. Everybody in the shop, got a guy comes out, hey, I pulled this door panel off, I broke these tabs. I don't know, for some reason the fasteners today are just so much stronger. It's almost like a one-time use on many of the plastic parts that we deal with. So you got two things, call in for a supplement, wait to order that interior part. A lot of times they're not stocked. It's gonna be a 3-4 day wait. The car's sitting there ready to go. No one said anything about it when they broke it. It's just the frustrations that, 5 o'clock we all suffer. So this product is sold on Amazon. You can buy from your jobber. I'm gonna do a demonstration. Here's a pretty flexible piece, goes underneath a windshield, I believe. This tab was broken off of it. Toby, you wanna hold that just a little bit angle? What's neat about it is that there's a powder that comes in black and gray. You take the powder and it basically bridges. Here, you just put that on there like this. You just gotta hold it just like that. Right where it's supposed to go.
Okay.
Yep. And you take the powder and you can put it right in the area where it's broken. And then you have your adhesive that you just drip on top of that powder.
You glued my fingers.
That's okay.
Now, what do I do now?
Okay. And basically, you can set it, you can come back and finish it, but this thing here is just so strong that it saves the panel. I have to admit, there's some stuff that, I tinker with, some rat rods and stuff like that, and you got some parts that you just cannot replace. I've used this stuff like on pot metal carburetor tabs, where I built it up, drilled it, tapped it, and reused it. That's how strong this stuff is. And I sound like an infomercial, but I gotta tell you, this stuff, I think, how much is it, like 20 bucks on?
Yeah.
You gotta have this in your shop for those quick deals. It's absolutely insane. You can see that, obviously it works on plastic, works on all kinds of different items.
It's great for rubber.
Yeah.
I had a broken seal on my truck and.
Yeah, this
glued it
one here,
together.
this was a door panel, or a bracket that I broke, intentionally, glued it, took a pair of pliers. I can show you how much strength that it has and go right back in. Pretty neat. Next, Aaron?
Okay, here's a sample of aluminum welding from a technician that just went through the WCA 03 from ICAR with me. And let me just talk a little about aluminum welding. Biggest problem I have with teaching students is speed and stick out. Stick out when you weld aluminum is about double what you deal with steel. So you're moving it back. And these guys, when we weld steel, they move back and forth. With aluminum, we don't do that. We're just gonna move straight up. What I have found over the last 14 years is that technicians, when they first start welding aluminum, they want to weld it like steel, and they just start going like this. So I came up with a method to slow them down. I call it the backfill method. Is that I take the gun and go up and down, up and down, up and down. And when you hear it when you're welding, it sounds and it's doing that. And if you look at the picture up there, you can see peaks and valleys. Now, again, this guy was just learning how to weld. He did a small tail end, and he did a crater fill by hand. There are machines that came out of the market. I've used the Feronius, and I've used the Prospot, and I've used the Chief double pulse machines. And what these machines do is that if you hold the gun there, it does it automatically. And it produces a beautiful, fine weld. The biggest problem we have, and I don't call it a problem, but all of these machines that I've played with, were all three-phase. And being in the shop on a daily basis, A lot of shops don't have three-phase, they have single-phase. In November, Prospot next came out with a double pulse machine that has the same features as all of their other machines, but it was single phase. And you just hold the gun there and you go, and it produces a beautiful weld. I mean, so the guys that don't have that three-phase in the shop, you know, this is a great alternative for them.
One last thing.
Back to welding. And again, guys, you know, I walk around with my trailer and I keep 8 welding masks in there, and they all have magnifiers. And they're all expensive. When I say expensive, they're top-of-the-line welding masks. I don't know what's with our technicians out there, but they'll go out and spend thousands of dollars on a socket wrench, yet they will go to Harbor Freight and buy the cheapest mask because it says it's an automatic. Well, these masks are for a hobbyist at home who doesn't weld. They're not designed for the everyday body shop. Second problem I've come across is 90% of them can't see. You'd be surprised, they just can't see. So I put these on the photo on the right is a small magnifier that slides into 2 grooves on the mask, on a good mask. Well, these cheap masks don't have those things. These are from Kent. These are two Doppler, which is about 2 times, and they're safety glasses. Under 20 bucks. For you shop owners, buy them for your technicians. It'll make it like night and day, automatically. They can see what they're doing.
Yeah, to allude to Toby, if anybody here taken a welding class or a test, it's insane that vision that you have to keep that wire right in where you need to weld is imperative. And like, you know, to allude to what Toby just said about the magnifying, you know, helmet shields. Yeah, you look dapper. But, you know, this is a dual purpose. A lot of
$20
times,
improvement.
you know, a lot of times you take their helmet, you open it up, and you're moving things around. You have no safety glasses on. This is a dual purpose. You got the safety glasses and the magnifier to help you do a better weld. Great stuff.
I mean, it's just a cheap piece of equipment that'll improve the quality of their welds instantaneously.
I think that's it.
Any questions?
How much power does it have? How long does it last? The charge?
It comes with 2 batteries. You know, I mean, I have the Prospot battery pack, and when I do the rivet bonding class from, I never go through a battery. They're probably good for about 70, 80 pulls. But what'll happen is, again, guys, when I was testing these rivet guns, and I mean, I got about 10 of them sitting there, half of them wouldn't pull the rivets. You go in there and just stop. So, you know, like I said, I have a Taurus 4 from Reliable, which is, to me, is the Cadillac of the rivet guns out there, and it just works flawlessly. But again, I'm in a situation where I don't have the air. Man, that's a great piece. Yes?
Toby, is the single phase one, is that approved for the same OEMs and all
No,
that? Okay.
not as of, it just came out in November.
Yeah.
Again, you know, you have your program welders.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the guys that'll have the 3-phase out in their shop. But, you know, if State Farm came out with this edict that they want all their, you know, shops to be aluminum certified by a certain date, and, you know, they have to buy a welder, they don't have 3-phase, what do? You know, here's an, like I said, just an alternative to look at. Yes?
I will say, like, as an employee of Prospot, we're working on the same OEM certifications for the single phase right now.
Okay.
And also that CAFE mandate that came out, that new standard, by 2025, I think the average fuel economy has to be around like 55 miles per gallon. So these companies are coming up with new ways to decrease like the weight of these metals. So this single phase is going to save a lot of those mom and pop shops who want to fix cars but don't have that 3-phase power. So I know we're excited about this product.
That's great. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you.